Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Doug Shoemaker with the Shoemaker Loan Team at Homestead Financial Mortgage. And today I want to walk you through something I call a real estate report card. And it's for St. Clair County, Illinois for 2026. Now, this is a simple data driven snapshot of the local market that helps buyers, sellers, and real estate agents make sense of what's actually happening without getting lost in the headlines or the hype. Now, if you're somebody who really doesn't care how the clock works, you just want to know what time it is, this next minute or so is for you. But don't worry, if you like to know how things work, stick around because we're going to go a little bit deeper. So let's go ahead and get started with the short version. The median home price in St. Clair County, it's right around $248,000, which is really affordable compared to a lot of surrounding areas. Now, over the last 5 years, homes here have appreciated at around 6% per year on average, and affordability, it's actually a strength. The Affordability Index is 193, and that means that the typical household earns nearly double what's needed to afford the median priced home with a 20% down payment. Now, don't get me wrong, everybody, you do not need a 20% down payment. This is just how that Affordability Index works. Now, inventory, it's still relatively tight with about 763 active listings countywide. So well priced homes, they continue to move. And the bottom line here is that this is a market with solid fundamentals, reasonable prices, healthy demand, and a long term appreciation. All right, now let's slow it down and let's actually walk through what this report is telling us and why that actually matters. Now, at the top of the report, you're going to see that the median home price, that number matters because it reflects the middle of the market, not the highest sale, not the lowest, but where most transactions actually happen. Now, for buyers, this sets realistic expectations. For sellers, it kind of helps anchor their pricing strategy. And for investors, it really helps determine whether entry points still make sense. Now, next, we're going to look at historical appreciation. And the report shows roughly 6.18% average appreciation over the last 5 years. Now, it shows about 5.1% over the most recent 10-year period. But if we zoom way out to 63 years, you're going to see that St. Clair County averaged just under 3% appreciation. Now, what this tells us is that the markets, they move in cycles, but over time, real estate tends to reward patience. So short-term swings, they matter a lot less than long-term trends. Then we shift from looking backward to kind of looking forward. Now, based on current data, the forecast shows about 3.35% average annual appreciation over the next 5 years, which would translate to roughly about $41,000 in cumulative growth or about 16.7% total. Now, that's not a promise or a guarantee, it's a projection, but it does give us reasonable expectation grounded in data instead of emotion. Now, supply is another key piece of the puzzle. And right now, there's about 763 active listings in the county, with about 38 new listings just in the last 5 days. And we are seeing meaningful month over month and year over year changes, actual increases in inventory. And that tells us inventory is moving, but it's not flooding the market. And that's why strategy matters so much right now. Pricing, presentation, and preparation, they make a real difference. Now, the report, it also breaks down demographics. Now, based on a population of about 255,000 people, this matters because demographics drive housing demand. First-time buyers, move-up buyers, downsizers, and investors. Now, a healthy demographic mix, it usually supports steady housing activity, not just a one-cycle market. And one of the most interesting sections, in my humble opinion, is the breakdown between renters and homeowners. About 23% of residents in St. Clair County are renters, and roughly about 19,500 of those renters, they could already afford to buy a home based on income data. Now, that's a huge opportunity and a really big reason this market continues to have built-in demand. And it's not really about ability, it's about education, planning, and timing. And finally, we come back to affordability. An affordability index of 193 means that the median household earns almost twice what's required to afford the median priced home. And that's a really big deal. It's one of the reasons this market remains resilient, even when rates move around the way they have. So that's the real estate report card. It's designed to take a lot of complicated information and turn it into something clear, practical, and usable, whether you're buying, selling, investing, or just trying to figure out what's happening around you. Now, if a real estate agent shared this with you, it's because they really want you informed, not pressured. And if you want to understand how your specific situation fits into this data, that's exactly what my team and I are here for. I'm Doug Shoemaker with the Shoemaker Loan Team, and we're always here to help.